As Mr. Ellsworth mentioned, it's been approximately 9 months since the GAO report first came out that uncovered a significant amount of fraud within the service-disabled veteran-owned small business contracting program. What we want to get to the bottom of today is what have you as agencies been doing to fix the problem since we've discovered those numbers back in November. Our first panelist I'd like to introduce is Ms. Linda Oliver. Ms. Oliver is Acting Director of the Office of Small Business Programs for the Department of Defense. In this role, she's responsible for establishing Department of Defense policies that ensure the inclusion of small firms in defense-related procurement actions. Ms. Oliver, I'd like to recognize you for your opening statement. Can you make sure your microphone's on?
Thank you.
Great.
It's a pleasure to be here, Chairman, Nye, and panel members, to talk about service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. In the Department of Defense, as I know you know, the service-disabled veteran-owned small business owners frequently have been our colleagues either in uniform or out of uniform before becoming small business members. So we are particularly concerned and sympathetic to service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. This morning, I will summarize the testimony, really summarize the testimony, because there's no point in going through with you what we have already written down. The 4 areas I will quickly talk about is the Department of Defense performance over the past 7 years, what we have done and are doing to improve performance, what we have found about service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses that might help us do better, and then I will touch on the GAO study. 2 of the cases in the GAO study concern the Department of Defense. As is in my testimony, over the past 7 years, the Department of Defense has had a 14-fold increase in dollars that go to service-disabled veteran-owned small business contracts. We have had a 7-fold increase in percentages. We have had a 4-fold increase in the number of service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses with which we contract. And because Chairman Nye told me he'd do this last time in October, I want to mention that the Department of Defense, as Chairman Nye has said, has done very well with our Recovery Act dollars to service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses to the tune of $157 million, which is a lot of work. But we understand we have a long way to go, and we are working to improve our performance. We had an effort several years ago to get more service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses in CCR. We have done a great deal of outreach. We have tried to put in place, put special emphasis within our contracting officers on contracting with service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. We did work with our Mentor Protege program. We probably, to be honest with you, have picked the low-hanging fruit, and so now we have turned to as much detail analysis as we can in order to understand better the service-disabled veteran-owned small business world so that we can take better advantage of it. We were interested to find that the service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses tend to cluster around 3 areas of contracting. The biggest are a category which is general but is services, professional, scientific, and technical services. 42% of the dollars that the Department of Defense sees go to service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses are in this area. 24% of all of our contracts with service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses, 24% of the dollars, are for construction, and 11% are for administration. which means administration, meaning the sort of clerical people, for example. With 77% of our contracts with service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses clustered in 3 areas, it means that we reach a saturation point, and what we must do is start focusing on the other areas. We are performing further analysis right now so that we can do a better job. We have been concerned about the Government Accountability Office report. We have taken steps to deal with it. We don't like fraud either. And our Inspector General is doing a report, which we expect to have concluded in December. I have spoken with the suspension and debarment people. They think it's a good idea to have us pass the word better. And they are interested in coming in to help. Additionally, we believe that we need a sort of a just-in-time training for the limitations on joint ventures, because the problems seem to cluster there. My time is up. Thank you so much for holding this hearing.